What's up, Agents Rock? Hopefully everybody started their new year the right way. I'm here with my usual suspect who continues to laugh still because she thinks everything is funny. But we got a great podcast for you today. We're going to be talking about if you wanted to become a real estate agent this year, what are some of the things you should look out for? What are some of the things you should budget for? What are some of the things you should plan for? And what does it look like, to become a brand new agent? What are some of the steps? What's the cost? Stuff like that, right? So in New Jersey, in order for you to become a New Jersey licensed real estate agent, you have to go through a 75-hour pre-licensing course. That course can cost you anywhere between $99 to $500. If you are looking to become a real estate agent and you're looking to take that course, go on signaturerealtyacademy.com. Our course fee is $99 and then $50 for the book. It's, I think, the most inexpensive course right now in the state of New Jersey. And in the future, I think we're going to make it free.
And it's all online.
Yeah, it's all online. It's
and
easy.
At night.
And it's at night, and it's 3-week course. And I think we also provide day courses as well. I don't know how long that takes in terms to complete. And then once you complete the course, you take a course exam. And once you pass that course exam, then you have to go take the New Jersey State exam administered by the PSI. And once you pass that, simply getting your fingerprints and then getting sponsored by a brokerage. So here are some of the fees that you have to keep in mind when you become a licensed real estate agent, right? The first fee is getting fingerprinted. We already spoke about, the course fees, but getting fingerprinted is the second fee. That's $66.05. Then you have to get processed and approved by the state of New Jersey, by the Real Estate Commission. That's $160. Once you get sponsored, approved by a brokerage and by the Real Estate Commission, then there's going to be fees that are associated with you becoming a real estate agent with that specific brokerage. Now, that can vary. There are brokerages out there that will charge you $5.99 or $4.99 up front for E&O insurance, errors and omissions insurance. We do not charge that at Signature. We only charge our first month's fee, which is $100, and the annual fee of $70 up front, so that's $170. But other brokerages will charge anywhere between $4.99 and $6.99. That's their E&O insurance fee. Then you're going to have fees that are outside, that are not associated with the brokerage, such as the board fees. Now, that's prorated depending on when you come in. If you become an agent January, then you're going to owe the entire board fee for the entire year. So that's typically for a brand new agent, that's about $540 for a new agent. If you come in, let's say March or April, it's prorated from that time all the way to December. So that's a little bit less. Then you have your MLS fees, depending on what MLS you're going to be part of. MLS is the multiple listing service. That also varies. There's 7 MLSs in the state of New Jersey, and it's specific to territory. One of the least expensive ones is the Garden State MLS, which covers actually the most amount of territory. It covers Somerset, Hunterdon, what else?
Morris, Union,
Warren County as well, and a few other counties
Sussex.
out there, Sussex, right, and parts of Passaic. That MLS fee right now is $87.50 every 6 months. And again, that's prorated as well, depending on when you come in. You also have the Super eKey app fee. That is the app that allows you to gain access to the keys to a property. That is a $50 one-time activation fee, and then I believe it's $15 per month after that, right?
$14.99.
$14.99. Melissa wants to be very politically correct today, so she wants to be precise. So $14.99 per month, and that is pretty much all the fees that you're going to incur when you become a real estate agent. So you're going to make an investment anywhere between $700 to about $1,200, depending on what brokerage you go with, right? So if you're interviewing with any brokerage out there, be very cognizant of those fees. Ask them questions regarding it. What's your initial startup fee or initial investment that you're going to make? And in the beginning, if you choose, a little tip there, if you choose not to have access to Super eKey and any MLS for the first 30 days or 60 days, just to kind of keep the costs down a little bit, you can actually do that. And I think that a lot of agents are not aware of it, and a lot of brokerages don't tell their agents that they have the option. But I do recommend you getting Super eKey. I do recommend you getting the MLS so you can get in the fluidity of things, right? Going to properties and viewing them on your own. You don't have to have a client necessarily to start looking at properties and looking on the MLS and searching for inventory. So those are some of the fees. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about what you need to do in order to prepare yourself to be a real estate agent, not just from a mental standpoint, but also from a economic standpoint. What are some of the money or some allocations you should make? I think a lot of people, they're leaving a full-time job or they're working a full-time job until they transition into real estate full-time. And you may not even want to transition into real estate full-time ever. You know, you might just want to supplement your income. And that's what I love about real estate. It solves for a lot of problems. A lot of people that come into the business, some want to become full-time agents and replace their current income at their current job. Other people just want to supplement their income. They want to make an extra $30,000, $40,000 a year. I commend you, right?
That was like me.
That was like you, right? In the beginning, you were what?
I was just doing it for extra income. So I was part-time, but
Yeah. So you were a teacher and then you needed some extra money. You wanted to make some extra money, obviously, to buy more shoes and purses, whatever it is that you wanted to do.
more more clothes.
Yeah. More
Stuff I don't need.
More lipstick and stuff that you don't need. But whatever your goal is, right? Just have an understanding of it, have a good vision so that way you can use real estate as a vehicle to obtain that goal. But let's say you wanted to become a full-time real estate agent, right? What are some of the things in the first 90 or the first year should they start doing to prepare themselves in order to become a full-time agent?
So I think that first, that it's important for everybody to understand, obviously, that you're not on a fixed income, right? You're commission-based. So I think that when you go in, you have to have the mentality and understand that you're probably not going to get your first paycheck for like 3 months.
Yeah. How
Right,
long did it
so-
take you to get yours?
I don't remember.
2 years?
No, I don't remember. But so you're not going to get paid right away,
Yeah.
right? And maybe not even the first 3 months, because it really depends on when you get your first client. So definitely have some money saved up. But the idea is obviously that once you get one, then you keep going.
Should you spend it?
Spend what?
The money, the commissions. What should you do with it? Like if you're trying to transition at some point, what should you do with the money?
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what I do and what they should do.
You just told us you spend it.
No. So you have to put money aside for taxes. So I put between like 20 and 25% aside. Because remember, you're not taxed in the beginning. So always put that money aside so that you're not hit at the end of the year.
Correct.
So that's number one. And then number two.
Yeah, don't be a crybaby like Melissa. Like, I gotta pay $55,000. Oh my God.
Yeah, once you after your first year, you should definitely be set up on estimated payments, but
Yeah.
that's a different topic.
Go.
Anyway, so put money aside for taxes, number one, and then you should take a good portion of that money. I'm not going to tell you how much of whatever's left, maybe whatever. I don't know what your financial situation is, but let's say, I don't know, in between 30% and 40% of what you have left after the taxes, after the tax money, and then try and reinvest it back into your business, right? So, for marketing or, mailers or systems, right? Anything, lead sources, right? So the idea is that you take a portion, put your taxes away for your taxes, take another portion to reinvest back in your business.
That's good advice, actually. And what I would say is have a number in mind that you need saved up from your real estate commissions in order for you to make a decision on when you want to leave your job, whatever that is, whether it's $40,000, $50,000, that's a good cushion where you feel comfortable enough that you can leave and your bills are paid for X amount of months or for a year, where you're not feeling the financial pressure. And that's kind of one of the biggest problems for a lot of agents trying to transition. They don't know how to control their money. They don't know what the number is. They don't know what their spendings are, right? And they don't know what it's going to take or required in order for them to leave, in order for them to dive into real estate full-time, fully immerse themselves in it.
Right. So, audit yourself, right? Look at your last 12 months. How much did you spend? That's going to tell you how much you need saved up. So I would say have money saved for like a year, just in case, you know.
That's tough. A year? I mean, that's great if you can, but
everybody's different, right? I mean, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my recommendation.
And here's some stuff to expect, right? You're going to put a lot of mileage on your cars.
God,
and we were
don't
talking
get me
about that, right?
started.
You know, you're going to
I
spend
can
some
tell
money
you-
on gas,
I'll
right?
tell you my best investment in real estate. My best investment was getting a Tesla.
There you go.
I had a regular gas
For those who
car.
can't afford, though, a Tesla, right?
Yeah. Well, now, I mean, forget it.
Yeah.
All right. Like now everything's gone up in price.
Yeah, but just be conscious. Like you're going to, if you're going, a real estate agent, especially in the beginning, and most real estate agents work more with buyers than with sellers. So
Yeah.
that means you're on the road a lot. That means you're going to put miles on your car. So be cognizant of lease versus financing. You know, you're going to obviously, you know, gas is up. You're going to spend money there. So just be aware of that aspect of the business because like you put how
There's-
many miles on your Tesla your first year?
Oh my God. You don't even want to know. But I mean, I use my Tesla
No,
for work
seriously.
and personal.
Okay, well,
So
how many miles did
I-
you put on your car just for work?
I don't know. But
if you had to guess.
all right. So I've had it for 13 months. I have almost 41,000 miles on it
Yeah.
in 13 months. So I would say probably 30 of it is work.
All right, and the other 11,000 is the mall.
Yeah. I love them all, guys. Love them all. No,
Yeah.
but yeah, so it's a lot of
Yeah,
mileage. It's a lot of wear and tear on your car.
but let's be fair here because I don't want people to take this out of context and misconstrue. You're a very busy agent, right? You did 50 transactions this year, so you're on the road a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think somebody in the beginning is going to obviously, you know, drive as much as you have been, you know, driving the past year.
And it's also
Yeah.
where they're working, right?
Yeah.
If you're really working just in one county, right, then you're not going to put that many miles on your car. But I pretty much go wherever business calls, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to do that, but you know, it's really up to the individual. Like, so if you, let's say, live in like Westfield and you're like, hey, I only want to do business in Union County, you're not going to put, you know, 30,000 miles on your car in a year.
Correct.
You're just not. But if you're an agent that's like, hey, listen, you know, I'll go anywhere and everywhere, then yes.
Yeah. Well, the point is you're going to put miles on a car. You're going to have that expense that you didn't have before. You have to be aware of that. What are some other things that you, as an agent, brand new in the beginning, should be preparing for?
I would say that your Saturday and Sundays are your busiest days. So weekends are just spent with buyers.
Take those barbecues and toss them out the window.
Yeah. So that was an adjustment for me, actually.
Let them know you're going to be super late.
Yeah, that was an adjustment for me. And you'll also be very busy at night. So, but you'll adapt.
Tell your
right?
husband and your wife you're not going to see them ever again, and the kids.
Yeah, so you're busy at night during the week, mostly, right? Because most people, and again, I'm just, you know, taking the population as a whole, right? Most people have 9 to 5s, right? And most people are generally only available on the weekends or at night after work. Occasionally, you'll have clients that, you know, work overnight, so you're going to show them houses during the day.
Yeah.
But regardless, so usually your busiest times and days are during the week at night and Saturday and Sunday. So that was an adjustment for me. Like you said, I show up late to everything. If anything is on a weekend, I'm late. My friends have a barbecue and they're like, hey, it starts at 1 o'clock. I roll in at like 5 o'clock when they're like bringing the dessert out, you know?
Joe and I are wondering how you function in life anyway.
So, you know, that's one. But there's obviously some pros to that, right? Because you get to go to the grocery store and go to the gym, let's say, when
During the
nobody else
day.
is there, right? So you can go to the grocery store on a Monday morning or Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. and nobody's there.
Yeah.
Instead of going on
Well,
Saturday and Sunday.
That's if you're fully transitioned as a
Right.
full-time agent.
Yeah,
right?
if you're a full-time agent.
If you're still working a full-time job and doing real estate,
Yes.
I wouldn't necessarily say part-time, but doing real estate secondary, right? You're going to not have a lot of time for many things. And there is, you know, an adaptation period that you're going to have to get acclimated to. And that could be a tough transition for a lot of people.
Yeah, so
Right.
I can speak to that on what happened.
Because
with
you were
me.
a teacher and you were doing this basically full-time
Yeah.
for about a year and a half
Yeah,
before
so-
you transitioned over, right?
Right.
Like, so how did you transition? How did you get acclimated to
So it was
basically creating a new schedule for yourself with very limited time?
Yeah, it was really tough actually. So I went from like literally like not having any time to do anything in the very beginning because when I first started, because I was obviously working 2 jobs and I had to pick one, which is why I picked one because I was very busy in both. So I chose real estate, obviously. So in the beginning, it was like kind of weird because I was so used to, I would get up every morning at 5 a.m. and go to the gym because I would go before my full-time job.
She would do that once a month at the gym,
No.
5 a.m.
No, so, and then once I quit, I was like, wow, I really don't have to get up at 5 a.m. anymore. So I basically had to create like an entire new schedule, right? So it was weird because I'm like, I felt like I had so much time on my hands, right? Because from 5 to 3, essentially, from the time I started my day when I went to the gym to the time I got out of work, that was like all extra hours that now I could focus on with real estate.
But I'm referring to when you were still working full time. Like when you started doing
forget it. It
when you
was
started
like,
doing real estate full time and you worked Monday to Friday as a teacher, and then you would, let's say, leave, school at 3:30, and then you went and dived into real estate. What did that look like? How did you manage your new schedule? Like, when did you go grocery shopping? When did you do your personal errands? Because you just mentioned on the weekends you're busy. If you're taking real estate serious, you're going to be busy on the weekends, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have to just be busy like showing houses for your own clients. One of the things I advise brand new agents, hey, go sit in an open house. Go, go sit in an inspection for somebody else. Go do showings for somebody else. There's so many real estate agents that would rather pay you to do the actual showings than themselves, right? Or they have some prior commitment and they don't want to, or their client doesn't want to reschedule. So someone has to do those showings. So you can get really busy just by handling the tasks of other agents, which I think is something that doesn't get spoken about as much as it should, right? Real estate agents, brand new, coming into the business, can really get inundated with other people's tasks. And as a result, that experience is going to, or those tasks are going to give them experience. So that's something that you should definitely do as well.
Yeah, it's like a learning experience for them.
But back to your schedule.
All right, so I'm sorry, what was the question? How did
you manage your new schedule when you were working full-time as a real estate agent, full-time as a teacher?
Oh, so when I was doing both?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So how did I manage it? I honestly had a really hard, in the very beginning it was okay because I wasn't super busy, but then like later on it was like really, really challenging because I legitimately like had no time to do like laundry and go grocery shopping. So I would like,
that's why you smelled all those years.
so I would like,
She wasn't doing her laundry.
yeah. So I would actually wake up on Saturdays and Sundays at like 5:30 in the morning and not go to the gym. I'd have to skip the gym. So
You
I
scared
could
everybody.
do,
Everybody's like, I'm not going to become a real estate agent. I got to wake up at 5 in the morning to do laundry.
well, that was because I was doing, it was like I had 2 full-time jobs, right? So I would get up really early and that's when I would do my laundry. That's when I would clean my house. I mean, I still kind of do that now. Joe thinks I'm totally weird.
Yeah.
I get up like really early on the weekends before I started my day to do some of the stuff I had to do at home, right? My husband obviously was also a big help. I know that's not the case for everybody. Not everybody has somebody that can help them, but he would go to the grocery store. He would do some of these like miscellaneous tasks that I would need him to do. Like, I'd tell him, hey, can you stop at the store and return this for me? And he would do it.
Yeah, he still does it.
He still does it. Yeah. Yeah. A true story though. He actually does.
Yeah. What's the excuse now? You're doing real estate full time, nothing else. God bless him.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of like, it was really challenging, right? I would do laundry or clean so it was either I would do it really early in the morning or I would do it really late at night, one or the other, right? That's when I would do the tasks that I had to do at home. Anything else, like I would just try and either squeeze it in or ask my husband to help me out, but definitely a challenge. So then when I left, even though I was busy, right, I quit at a time where, like all the things that we mentioned, like I had saved up money, right? And I had already like some clientele. When I quit, I felt like I had so much time on my hands because from 5 to 3, Monday through Friday was like, that was when I was working my other job. And now I was like, oh my God, I have all these hours, So that was like a little bit of a relief. But yeah.
Yeah. Another thing you should be prepared for is, be as frugal as possible with your money, right? Cut all the fat that you don't need. Live a very humble lifestyle. Whatever it is that you're, like repeating or recurring subscriptions that you have, remove them. There's no need for it, right? Being a real estate agent doesn't mean you're going to have a consistent check, even though you should get to a point in your career where you have consistent checks coming in, and then eventually when you're making money, you should obviously invest in real estate, and so you can have passive income as well. And that's a topic for another conversation in the future, but that's extremely important, right? So just be careful with your spendings, because it could be another month or 2 or 3 before you get another paycheck, right? So that's why it's extremely important. And I think that a lot of agents, biggest mistake in the very beginning is that they're working on one transaction rather, and they stop focusing on prospecting, and then they close, and then all of a sudden they're looking around and like, wait a minute, I don't have any more clients.
Right.
And that's a big problem. You should, if you have 2 deals under contract or 1 deal under contract, or you have 1 buyer and there's an opportunity to take on more buyers, take them all. Take as many as you can handle.
Yeah.
You will be surprised on how much bandwidth you really have and how efficient you could really work if you leverage very simple systems, right? If you leverage your day the right way, and if you're proactive versus reactive during the day. So that's extremely important as well for, a real estate agent.
The idea is that you always want to keep the pipeline full, right? Like,
Correct.
A lot of people, I feel like they get like that first check and they're like, oh my God, right? And then they spend it.
I almost
That's
equate it to
why-
like gas. Like when you're driving, and you're not a culprit of this because you have an electric car.
What is
Actually, you
gas?
are.
What is gas?
Yeah, but you know how many people they'll wait. My wife does this all the time. They'll wait until they get to basically empty, and they're running to the gas station.
Wait, can I tell you my story?
You will in a second. But, they wait until the very end for their car to be on reserve, and then they go to the gas station, right? Don't be that sort of agent where you're waiting for your pipeline to be, cleared in order for you to go and prospect. Again, don't do that. Just continue to prospect, continue to move the needle forward, right? That's the way you should be living your life as a real estate agent, all the time. Right,
Yeah.
go ahead. Tell us your story.
I used to be like that. I used to be like, oh no, I know how far I can go. I'll make it. I'll be just fine. So this morning I went to the gym and I didn't take Tesla. I took Sparky. So first of all, when I get in the car,
It's
I'm
our
like,
Chevy Spark.
yeah, half of the time I forget how to drive a gas car, but whatever. Anyway, got in the car, started driving to the gym. I didn't have my gas light on. I knew it was low. I was like on the last one, but whatever. I'm like, okay. Long story short, my gas light.
Something tells me this is not going to be a freaking short story.
No, my gas light came on, and I had just passed the gas station, so I was like maybe like 4 miles to the gym, and the gas light is on, and I'm like freaking out now. Like I'm like, do I turn around? Should I turn around? What if I don't make it home? What if I don't, and I start thinking, because I don't know how far the car is going to go now, like, because I don't really drive a gas car anymore. So long story short, I was pretty much at the gym, and I was like, I'm turning around. And
So
I
you
turned,
drove 4 miles to drive another 4 miles back.
and then I was like, how dumb am I? Like, clearly I would have made it, right? But I was like having an anxious moment.
Can I get a new podcast host here or co-host?
I was having an anxious moment because
Oh,
I've ran out of gas before, and I don't. wanna
Yeah,
do
something
that.
tells me you ran out of gas several times in the past. Yeah. Just don't be that agent, right? Don't wait for your pipeline to be clear for you to start prospecting again. And when I was in a mortgage business back in 2005, my manager at the time, Carlos, this was February 2005. I still remember it like it was yesterday. And I had like a really, really good month. I just started doing, mortgages 3 or 4 months prior to that. And I had, I think, a $30,000 month. And the following month, I had 0 closings. And I sat down with him, or he
That
rather
hurts, right?
Yeah, he sat down with me. Well, it didn't hurt at the time because I had a full-time job, and $30,000 to me in 1 month, it was like that's almost as much as I was making it full-time working at the airport. So he sat down with me and goes, why do you think that you had 0 closings the following month? And I said, I don't know. He said, well, think about it really quick. Did you stop prospecting? I said, yeah, I had to. I was working on my deals to make sure they closed. He goes, you never do that.
Yeah, you never stop looking for new business
He says-
ever.
And from that moment, from that conversation on, I never had another month where I did not have any, closings.
Yeah.
I've always had closings, whether it be 1 or 7 or 12, whatever the case may be. I always had closings.
all right.
No,
Well-
it's oxygen to a real estate agent or anybody in commissions.
Yeah.
It's oxygen to their lifeline.
Yeah, you never have to stop. Well, so what does that look like though for a new agent, right?
No, it
Like, what
depends.
is well? So starting off too, what are you going to do to get leads, right?
Yeah.
You need to sign up for lead sources.
Well, that's tough, right?
People aren't just going to like fall from the sky
Yeah,
and
let's
be like,
talk
I
about
wanna
that
buy a
really quick
house.
because there's a lot of lead sources out there, but
Yeah.
many of them either require a financial commitment like Zillow.
Well, I was going to say, you don't have to necessarily pay for leads. So I want to talk about that too.
Yeah, but most of them do require a financial commitment, and some, like the referral lead platforms like Redfin and HomeLight and UpNest,
Yeah.
they require, it may not be good for a brand new agent because they require that you have a certain amount of transactions within the past 12 months, and if you don't meet that requirement, you're not going to be approved on their platform.
Yeah.
Now there are other platforms, if your brokerage is part of it, that offers lead services to brand new agents. Like for example, we're on Realtor.com through their platform, which I'm not going to mention what platform it is, but it's through Realtor.com, where all brand new agents, whether you're in the business 1 day, 1 week, or one month, you're going to get approved to be on there.
Yeah.
But the way we work is obviously we want to make
But
sure
they
you're
have to
trained.
pay a referral.
Yeah, there's a
But
35% referral.
But that's amazing for a
yeah.
new agent,
Correct.
right? Because they're not spending the money up front. They're only spending it if they close.
It's on the back end, yeah.
Right. So, you don't have to invest anything.
No, there's no upfront
Right.
cost.
No upfront cost, which is great for a new agent because they might not have all the money up front to pay for these leads, right?
No.
But you don't necessarily have to pay for leads.
No, you don't. You don't.
So-
and then one of your other responsibilities as a brand new agent, if your brokerage already doesn't have approved relationships with strategic partners like a mortgage company, title company, et cetera, right? Your responsibility is make those relationships because those partners could refer you a lot of business, right? Your attorney that you're working with, if he likes you or if she likes you, your mortgage loan officer, if they see value in you, they may say, hey, look, why don't we allocate $1,000 a month in, XYZ.
Yeah.
It could be Zillow, it could be ZBuyer, it could be Facebook leads, whatever the case may
So
be.
you have to make those
Yeah.
relationships.
So, so in the very beginning, making those relationships are very important. Also, I think one of the most important things in the beginning is spend your first 90 days really learning the business as
I was
much as
gonna say
possible.
that.
Like every day
Because-
of your real estate career, you should be doing somewhere between 30 minutes to an hour in reading, watching videos, learning, because that is extremely important and that's going to give you confidence, right? When you know what you're talking about, you're going to confidently talk about it, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to project to your client, your potential lead.
Well, and it's not even that. There's just so much more to real estate than what they teach you in that class.
They
Right?
don't teach you anything.
I know. Like there's just
It's the state, mandatory curriculum is to learn basically some definitions and that's it.
yeah.
You're
And-
not taught the
but
evolution of a
you-
transaction.
Right. You need to like almost go through it, right? So, like you said, watch videos. But for me, what helped me was because obviously everybody learns differently, right? Like you put me in front of a screen and they're like, okay, here's, the steps, if you're working with buyers, right? And here's what to accept. I don't learn. That's not the best way for me to learn, right? I have to learn by doing. So I think that in your first 90 days, if you can kind of pair up with somebody and shadow them and say, hey, let me just tag along.
I don't agree with that though.
You don't?
No.
That was so
That's the
helpful.
beauty about this podcast. I don't have to agree with her.
No, I think
I
that
don't agree
that
with
was
that.
so helpful for me. Like
That was different. I know what you're talking about. So Melissa in the very beginning, you've been in the business, what, 3.5 years?
Yeah, something
3.5
like
years.
that.
She's a top producing agent now, obviously. But in the beginning, wherever I went, Melissa would follow like a little
yeah, but it
puppy.
was amazing.
But I was strict, at that time we only had less than 50 agents. So at that time I was catering to teaching you a lot of things because I had time, right? And I was in my leadership role now. I think the problem with it, like if you started today and you're brand new and you wanted to shadow, let's say a top producing agent, how much are you really going to learn? The top producing agent is doing things that are not catered to the evolution of a transaction. I think in the beginning, what an agent should really do is learn the processes, learn the evolution, learn the 6 core
Yes.
fundamentals. A top agent isn't doing that. They're already
No,
past that.
yes.
A top agent is prospecting, and some top agents aren't even transaction managing their files. They have
I'm
enough
not.
money.
Yeah.
There you go. You've gotten to a point where you hire a third party company, right? A concierge service that's doing that. So how much are you really
Okay,
going to learn?
but no, I mean,
And I
there's
got her.
still, there's no, because I'm just saying like Brianna, right? Brianna came with me and she watched me do showings.
Yeah.
She came to inspections, and for her it was like, oh my God, like it was all this
Okay, so
useful
the showings, yes.
information.
Yes.
Right? All this useful information that, now she has context, right?
Yeah.
When she goes to a house and she's gone, I think she came with me on 3 inspections.
She knows what's the etiquette.
Yes. So
Yeah.
that's like, she's done a ton of showings with me, and then she came on a few home inspections with me. I went with her, right?
Yeah.
We were both there, and it was like a learning experience for her because you learn things, right? I mean, a lot of agents don't know anything about actual houses, like
Yeah, that's
furnaces and filters and where's the gas shut off, and
I think there should be, you know what, that brings a good point. They should do field trainings. They should really do, like, in class.
Yeah, I agree with
I
that
think-
because I was one of those agents. I'm like, what the heck is this? And you're like,
It's
that's
a doorknob.
it's a light switch.
What is this? Light switch.
No,
What is this? Kitchen cabinet, Melissa. But yeah, no, they should do, because a lot of agents are, even homeowners, they don't know
they
like,
don't
the
know.
mechanicals.
Yes.
They don't know what a floor joist looks like. They don't know, what a lolly column is. They don't know
Right.
what footings are
Right.
and stuff like that. And I wholeheartedly believe that we as agents should have more than just a minimum understanding of it, right? You should
Yeah.
have more than a minimum understanding.
It's almost like they should
Yeah.
should make new agents do like a field training of 12 hours.
Well,
I'm just saying.
However hours, that's
I'm
debatable.
just saying.
That's
I'm just saying,
debatable.
like,
Yeah.
so that they understand
Yeah.
some of the,
Yeah,
things
but they
about a
should.
house, because a lot of people don't.
Yeah, they should know, like, where the electrical boxes are usually located.
Right.
What's the difference between a 100 amp,
And a
200
200
amp,
right.
250, 300, et cetera, et cetera. What's a sub panel? What's the purpose? There are things
Where's
that
the
they need to
filter
know.
for a
They
furnace?
should know the difference between PEX and copper.
Yeah.
Yep, the filter for the furnace, right?
Things like that. Where's the water? What is water?
The main water shut off.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Because they don't teach you that. And then it's like, what does a sump pump look like? Like things like that. Like,
French drain.
right. Like some of those things.
Yeah.
So for me, that was helpful when I started, right? Because I'll never forget one of the first home inspections I went on with you.
Is that the one you went with me, or is that the one I told you I couldn't make it and I called you in the last minute for you to
No,
go
no,
to?
no, that was another one. There was one that I went with you. Okay, you brought Madeline that day, actually.
Okay.
And Rob from Safeway was there, and you guys made me crawl in the attic. Okay.
Initiation period.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. It was like some kind of condo in like Elizabeth, I think.
Oh, no, on North Broad. I remember.
Yes,
Shout out to
yeah.
Raymond Walker.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
was the
so
seller.
they made me go in the attic. Can you believe that? And I
Yeah.
did it. I was like, sure, what am I looking for up
Yeah.
here? Because it was like this big.
Look, I'm going to tell you right now, like when I got into real estate, or actually when I got into real estate and flipping, I had to start going into crawl spaces in
Yeah,
business.
you shoved me down a freaking window in Belleville.
Yeah, that was because we
We were
couldn't
locked
get
out
in.
of the house. We were
So,
locked out of the
I
house.
pushed her. I kicked her.
No, we didn't. No, it was.
It's only 2 feet. It's like 10 feet. No,
true
but-
story.
But you should have more than a minimum understanding
Yeah.
of a lot of things when it's related to homes, right?
So yes, I'm saying that is also helpful. It's not just like the videos, right? Like the training videos. Like what is the
No,
evolution
I'm just
of a
referring
buyer?
to the evolution. What is the what happens when you are introduced to a lead?
Yes.
What should be the first thing you do? What's the second? What's the third? What does it look like before you go showing houses, the pre-approval process, all of that.
How do you prepare
that you're
for
not going to
showings,
learn
all
with
that
being
stuff.
with a
Yes.
top agent, shadowing a top agent. You're
Yeah.
not going to learn that
Right.
for the most part,
Right.
unless a top agent is willing to teach you. But then that requires them to basically cater to you and create like a curriculum, etc. So that's what I'm
So
saying.
I think that for new agents, when they want in
Yeah.
field training, to kind of ask a seasoned agent, hey,
Yeah.
can I shadow you on showings? Hey, can I come with you to a home inspection?
Yeah.
Hey, can I come with you to CO inspection? Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, home inspections. If you're brand new, first 90 to actually, your first year, sit as many home inspections as possible.
You can also do it 3.5 years later.
A lot of buyers agents do not want to sit it, because it's sometimes 2 to 3 hours long, and you're going to learn so much by shadowing the home inspector. You're going to learn so much about the mechanicals of a home, about the structure, right? If it's a good home inspector, they're really going to spend time explaining all of that to the buyer, and you could just sit in and listen, and you're going to leave there from your first home inspection a lot more knowledgeable than, before you walked in.
Yeah.
So
Mike
that's
and I-
important.
Mike and I disagree on this as well because I get yelled at for going on all my home inspections still. I've probably missed 2
Yeah.
my whole career.
Topic for another
Yeah, okay.
conversation.
Yeah,
But if you're a
next.
top agent, you should not be sitting home inspections
Me.
because it should really be that time for the home inspector and the buyer to really communicate amongst each other, build rapport, and for that buyer to pay attention to the home inspector. All you're going to be doing is sitting in the back and doing nothing really. You're just gonna know whether or not there's anything wrong with the
Okay.
property or concern. Now, in the beginning, right, you should obviously for learning purposes. Now, do I believe that at some times you should pop in first, right? While even if you hired somebody to sit that home inspection, pop in first, right? And set the right expectations before the home inspections. If you're a buyer's agent, that's an experienced one, right? Where it's like, hey, look, I
You
won't
were
be
really
there.
good at that.
Yeah. As far as setting the expectations. Yeah. I haven't sat a home inspection, well over 3-4 years. And I always told the buyers, this is a time for you to really pay attention to the home inspector. I'm not going to be there. I'm going to call you before and I'll call you afterwards, but somebody from my company will be there, just to make sure everything's going well, right? Make
Yeah.
sure you have access to the house, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, he meant
Yeah.
me. It was always me.
It wasn't just you. There's many other people that sat there. But anyway, what else? What else are some of the things that brand new agents should, do to
Expect.
prepare to expect? What are some of the things? Being on the phone a lot.
Oh yeah, being on the.
If you don't have unlimited data, you better have it now.
What else?
There's a lot. There's a lot. I mean, we spoke about the financial part of it. That's a big piece.
We spoke about the days, obviously, that in times that you're probably going to be the busiest.
Yeah. Back to being on the phone. Your phone is going to be
Attached.
super important. This is the most valuable thing you have as a real estate agent, right? The reason why I say that is because you want to follow up with your clients, with your leads. You want to be, make sure that you're always responding very quickly within 5 to 15 minutes to
Time
a lead that sends you a question or a lead that you receive. If you're on a lead platform and you get a lead, you should be responding within seconds, right? Within seconds, because more than likely the way lead platforms work is you're not the only one that got that lead. So first person that claims is the first person that's going to have the opportunity, right? And look, this business is all about creating opportunities. The more opportunities you create, the more revenue you're going to make. And obviously the more revenue you make, the more money you have to invest back into your business, right? And also in the beginning, be of the mindset of understanding that you are a business and that you are in business for yourself. And you have to make sure that you're working on the business as much as you're working in the business. Melissa works in the business too much sometimes. She forgets that she's got to work on the business. Working on the business is as crucial, if not more crucial, right? Understanding your KPIs, understanding your metrics and stuff like that.
Wow, Mike, way to tell everybody about my flaws.
I'm not telling anybody about your flaws. If I was, we'd spend hours there. Mindset.
Bring mace.
No,
I know your
work on
flaws.
mindset.
You're going to meet strangers.
Yeah, work on
Work
mindset.
on mindset, yeah.
You know,
Don't think it's easy.
Yeah,
right?
no, this business is
It's
extremely
not
hard.
easy.
Yeah.
Don't go and do not go into this business because you think that you're going to make a ton of money. You have to go into the business because you want to be in the business. It's not about the money.
Yeah, it's
It
about
is
providing-
not about the money at all.
It's about providing assistance, providing help. Just to understand one thing, you are handling the biggest asset of a person's life. 97% of people out there, their biggest asset is a home. So you're either handling the purchase of the biggest asset or you're handling the sale of a person's biggest asset. And you always have to make sure that their best interest is always in your best interest, right? And think of yourself almost as a wealth planner or financial planner. You want to make sure that people are making the right decisions and you want to make sure you guide them in the right way. If you think someone is making a wrong decision, and I've told many of my clients in the past,
Don't sell or
don't
right?
sell,
Yeah.
because they were selling for the wrong reasons or they were purchasing a house for the wrong reason, or it just didn't make sense. It wasn't a smart investment. Extract your commission breath from what you're doing. It's not about how much money you can make. It's about how many families you can help. And as a result, you're going to make a lot of money as well. You know, we've both have made tremendous amount of money in this business, and it is rewarding and satisfying, but more rewarding and satisfying is understanding that you're really providing a service and a solution, and that you're really helping people out, right? Have a genuine interest in your clients, in your leads, and understand that you're here to help and nothing else. And when you approach it in that manner, you're going to be successful. That's just the reality of it, right? Because you're going to get tons of referrals from everybody that you help. And that's what matters, more so than anything else.
Yeah, agreed.
Good. I'm glad we agree on something. All right, Agents Rock. Hopefully this gave you a lot of value, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Peace out.